Welcome back. Joining me on the show, Randy Diehl, former Chief Administrative Officer of the City of Kamloops. What an honor it is to have you here.
Well, it's an honor to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Very welcome to have you. And we have a picture of your book that we're going to put up on the screen. You have recently had this book published, Serving with Pride in the Public Eye.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes.
It was a big endeavor.
What was the inspiration behind this?
Well, I started, after I retired 4 years ago, I started to write, wanted to download all the information I had in my head about my career and the experiences that I had at the city. And so I wrote this memoir, and some of my peers had a look at it and they said, you need to turn that into a book. Mm-hmm. One of the reasons for that is that in Canada, there's virtually nothing written by practitioners for local government, about local government and how to function within that environment and to thrive within it. So I turned it into a book.
And so really it's become almost like a tip book for people who work in a position like yours. It highlights funny moments of your career, some of the funny things that happened, but it also deals with navigating the relationships between politicians and the public and administrators, and that's all very delicate and interwoven.
Yeah, it's really a guidebook for administrators and politicians, local government politicians. Right. And staff, because I think staff, everybody has to work collaboratively, sorry about that.
Yeah, it's a difficult
one. And cooperatively, yeah, together in order to make local government work. And, and so working with all the stakeholder groups and politicians and staff and unions, et cetera, all has to work together. And so it's a guidebook on how to do that and what to avoid. And it provides some details on some of the errors that I made.
And, and that's what makes it interesting, because it talks about the things that you had to learn the hard way. There's a lot of things that, that you had to figure out. For example, I found it interesting that when you were being considered as the CAO back in 2001, that a lot of the folks that were considering you said, well, are you going to be a shark like you have been?
Yes.
And, I don't look at you and think you're a shark myself, but it sounds like that's how you had to be for a while.
Well, when I first joined the city, that's the kind of behavior that you had to exhibit in order to survive within within the organization, because that's the way it was structured. That was the culture. And there was a lot of silo behavior and shark behavior. And so in order to do okay within it and to protect your staff and your department, I had to be a shark. So when I became the CAO, the first thing I had to do is to eliminate the silos as much as possible, because they're always going to be there, and to also get rid of the sharks in the tank. The first shark that I had to kill was me. Right,
and it says as such in your book. Let's talk about the Top 100 organization that you brought in. And this really changed everything, from the way the city dealt with the town as to how the city deals with its own people internally. Like, it just changed everything.
It did, yes. And the program started off as Top 100 after the Maclean's magazine contest for private and public sector organizations. So we borrowed the name, but we did apply to Maclean's and got Top 200 3 times. But it really isn't the public sector criteria that works for us. So we then went to Canada Awards of Excellence. It's an international organization based out of Canada and has very specific criteria for public sector organizations. And we were the first public sector organization in Western Canada to get the Gold Award. So I'm very proud of that achievement.
Would you say this is your legacy, is going with that and changing so many things based on wanting to be a Top 100 organization? Because it really changed so much within the city of Kamloops with going to that model.
Yeah, I'd hate to use the word my legacy, because it really is everybody's that worked there. It wouldn't have worked without the council supporting it, without the union supporting it, and very key staff who bought into the vision and drove the process to success. So yes, I'm very proud of that. I think it's one of our great achievements.
That's fantastic. You also mentioned dealing with the media in here. You said it's the hardest job that you guys have to do.
It is, because it's really important that we have a good relationship. On the other hand, you have to have a critical eye on what we're doing. And I think we sometimes get a bit thin-skinned, and we really can't afford to do that. You have your job to do, to report what's going on at City Hall to the public. I have my job to do in order to deliver the services and make sure that you're well informed. And sometimes we don't get it right, and you can't get upset about that. You just have to have a good, open relationship and talk about it. And I think we were able to achieve that in most instances.
Yes. I think it's a fabulous read, Randy. I haven't read the whole thing, but I've definitely read several of the chapters. And I think it's a really good inside look at how somebody in your position had to sort of learn some of the hard things and succeed in other ways. And it's very sage, and I think it's fantastic you've done this.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah. It was a big task. I'm not sure I'd do it again, but
really?
I'm glad it's done.
How long did it take?
4 years.
Really? That's quite a time. Now tell me this, where can people get this?
The best place is just to go to my website, randydiehlconsulting.com.
Okay.
Or they can email me at randydiehl2@gmail.com. Either one, and it'll guide them to getting a copy of the book.
Excellent. And on the back it says here from the Mayor of Logan Lake, an excellent pocket resource for those challenged with navigating the delicate relationships between top politicians and administrators. And I think that's exactly what this is. So thank you for being here today.
Thanks for inviting me.
You're very welcome. Information is on the screen, randydiehlconsulting.com, as well his Gmail address. If you would like to get in touch with him and grab a copy of this book, it's well worth the read. We are back after a quick break. Stay with us.